You are watching is a video of China announcing its new weapon. This video confused America, frightened Taiwan, and all America's allies in Asia. It opened Russia's appetite, redefined military wars. And we are not exaggerating. And when we tell you its details, you will understand why. China raised the ceiling of challenge to the highest possible level and decided to announce the shape of its coming war without saying a single word. Only with a video that explains terrifying details. And we will now complete the story for you with the details. In old wars, cities were destroyed by bombing, even burned completely with everyone inside. This is what the Germans did in World War II, and this is what America and Russia did. But the Chinese have another opinion. Maybe in any coming war you will not hear an explosion, nor gunfire, nor even see blood. Only complete silence hiding behind it, a catastrophe. And the catastrophe we are talking about here is called graphite, or the graphite bomb. This weapon can be described in one sentence: how to kill a country without firing a bullet. This weapon can be called a soft one. A missile flies at a specific altitude above a strategic target, but instead of carrying explosive warheads and shrapnel, it carries dozens of small cylinders, each one filled with fine processed carbon fibers. Once the cylinders open in the air, these fine threads spread like microscopic spiders and fall on power stations, control centers, command systems, and even emergency systems. The threads themselves are not lethal, but they are highly conductive. When these threads touch electrical insulators on wires or equipment, they cause what is called an artificial short circuit, one after another. Until transformers stop, protection systems collapse, the electrical load center falls, and the country begins to sink into darkness. In short, this is a weapon created to drown cities in darkness. But what is the danger in that? The answer is simple. You cannot stop it. Defensive systems cannot detect it. Radars cannot see it. There is no early warning. And when it falls, you cannot respond to whoever launched it because it leaves behind no craters or smell of gunpowder. Only complete paralysis. And to bring the picture closer, imagine this scene or this example. If a graphite bomb falls on a major city within just 10 minutes, all hospitals stop working. Airplanes in the sky cannot find a control tower to guide them. The army receives no orders from the operations room. Banks stop. Markets collapse. People go out to the streets not knowing what happened. Not an explosion, but an organized paralysis. And if you want the details of this Chinese bomb, then know. Its range is 290 kilometers, the warhead is 490 kilograms, and it covers a wide area reaching 10,000 square meters or more. It is launched from a precise missile that does not need to enter deep airspace. This means that an entire city can be turned off completely with the push of a button. In summary, graphite is not a bomb of war, but a bomb of before the war. It is launched in the first minute of conflict to keep the enemy blind, deaf, and powerless before the first real bullet is fired. It is a new weapon in the balance of power. It does not bomb cities, it switches them off. The bomb revealed by China this summer is not an invention from zero. It is a version much more advanced, more malicious, and more comprehensive than a weapon that was used before. The beginning was not Chinese, but American. In 1991, during the first hours of Operation Desert Storm, the United States launched graphite bombs on power stations in Iraq. The result? 85% of the Iraqi electricity network was paralyzed in minutes. No communications, no water, no hospitals, no air defenses. Then America repeated the same scenario in Serbia in 1999. It struck power stations with graphite bombs designed specifically for a hidden war. And the message was clear. We will not burn the land, we will switch it off. But who owns this weapon today? The direct answer? First, China. And it owns the new, latest, and strongest version. As we mentioned, it announced it publicly for the first time in an official military video on government television. And it did not hide its intention but showed in terrifying detail how the bomb works. And the timing was not random. It came at the peak of tension with Taiwan. China wanted to say, we do not need to invade Taiwan. we can simply switch it off. But what about others if they own it? Russia, for example. And the truth? No official information confirms that Russia owns this weapon. But according to intelligence sources, Moscow is working on developing a hybrid version, based on the same technology, to use it against fourth-generation wars to disable Europe if necessary. This means the Russians are in a race for this weapon, which whetted their appetite. But what about the United States? The one that made the first real combat experiment with graphite bombs. According to official statements, it stopped using them more than 2 decades ago for legal and diplomatic reasons, and it says today it focuses on developing defense systems for these bombs, especially in its bases around the world. But who believes that? And what about other countries? Some reports said South Korea is developing a special project for a graphite-like silent bomb, aimed at a preemptive strike against North Korea if conflict erupts, but without public announcement like China did. And what about others? The truth is not known. But what is known is that this kind of bomb, graphite, does not need regular armies to launch it. A single drone, or a tactical missile, or even an armed satellite can launch this ammunition. And the more dangerous thing, it can be manufactured locally with materials that are not extremely secret. And here enters the possibility that groups or non-state actors could own it in the future. In the past, wars always began with a missile. But now, they may begin with silence. Silence that cannot be explained, cannot be responded to, and whose source is unknown until it is too late. This weapon changes the rules of the game. First, war no longer begins with firing. The graphite bomb is used before the first bullet, before invasion, before landing, even before declaring a state of emergency. Suddenly, electricity stops. Communications and the internet collapse. Control rooms in airports and air defenses shut down. And the modern state turns into a paralyzed creature unable to move or speak. It is the perfect weapon to start a war, without announcing it. Second, traditional deterrence is finished. In old wars, states had nuclear deterrence or surface-to-air missiles. But the graphite bomb cannot be detected, cannot be countered easily. No sirens, no radars, no iron dome capable of stopping fine carbon threads falling quietly to drown the city in total darkness. Whoever owns this weapon does not need 1,000,000 soldiers, only 1 minute. Third, the danger extends to civilians before the military. This weapon does not distinguish between a military base or a hospital. It does not strike a tank. It strikes civilization itself, electricity. Imagine a country hit by a graphite bomb. Citizens find no medicine, no water reaches homes, no traffic lights, no internet, no media. Suddenly, the modern city becomes a medieval village, but full of anger and chaos. Fourth, it is the ideal weapon for psychological war. Because it cannot be seen, cannot be understood quickly. When people see their city sinking into darkness without sound, without warning, nations panic, chaos begins, trust in government collapses, and a regime may fall before any soldier falls. So what will this weapon change? It will change the meaning of war and redefine power. It will force armies to think differently. How do you defend electricity? In other words, graphite is the weapon of darkness, when darkness itself becomes a weapon. And in its new version, China is not threatening armies. It is threatening life itself.